Over the years, we've covered several instances of puppets suffering from real-life damage or disfigurement, as I'm sure you'll remember.
Oh, they were the highlights, weren't they? I
Some of
enjoyed
our
those.
favourite moments,
Yeah.
particularly for non-Super Mario Nation fans. You might remember the infamous story of Lady Penelope losing her leg to a crocodile.
Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah?
Yes.
Or the equally infamous story of Venus being left to burn during shooting of the final episode of Fireball XL5. I think it was in a beach hut or something, wasn't it? Yeah.
Rings a bell as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, this week we're returning to the world of cruelty towards puppets.
Hooray!
But we're heading into the 1980s. And to the day when a member of the Terrahawks cast suffered a double indignity during a photo call.
Oh, it wasn't Jeremy Hitchens, was it?
We can only hope it was Jeremy, but no. Some of you will be aware that Bray Studios, where the series is filmed, is situated along the River Thames.
Yes.
And if you've seen the Making the Unexpected special feature on the Terrahawks DVDs and Blu-rays, then you might have seen footage of Alan Patillo sitting on a lawn by the river with boats going past in the background, you know.
Now, that sounds like the beginning of a children's rhyme, doesn't it?
You can complete it later. It's a rather picturesque spot by the river there, and no doubt members of the Terrahawks production team had lunch breaks and so on, whenever they weren't in the pub, obviously.
Well, obviously.
They were there a lot.
Yes.
Since it looked so nice, the Riverside lawn was also a good spot to hold photo calls.
Okay.
And according to Steve Begg, that's what was going on one fateful day during the production of Terrahawks.
Uh-oh.
Oh dear. Dad and Christopher Burr were apparently showing off their Rolls Royces to the press. I mean, why wouldn't you? And the main Terrahawks puppets were assembled on the ground under a tree nearby, waiting for their turn on the cameras. Everything was going fine until the arrival of Sonny.
Sonny?
Sonny.
Stop there. I'm guessing Sonny was a dog.
Sonny was a collie dog, owned by the son of the manager of Bray Studios. Seeing the Terrahawks puppets sitting under a tree,
No.
Sonny charged in, grabbed everyone's favourite, Tiger Ninestein, between his teeth and made off with him. When pursued, Sonny took the only way out left to him and leapt into the river.
Great.
With Tiger Ninestein still a helpless prisoner between his teeth.
No.
Thankfully, both Sonny and Tiger were recovered from the river, and Ninestein was returned to his Terrahawks castmates, a little soggy, but apparently none the worse for wear.
Oh,
Very
really?
robust, isn't
Very
it?
robust.
Watching this from the studio bar, Steve remembers it causing much hilarity to everyone present, of course, except for Dad and Christopher. But thankfully, they eventually saw the funny side of this too.
How odd that Steve Begg, of all people, should be in the studio bar. It's very unlike him.
It beggars belief. Oh,
Very good.
Come on, that was pretty good.
That was good, yeah.
Yeah,
So
thank
how robust are these figures? I mean, I'm guessing also, now my darling wife Charlotte Serple has a story about Paul Zerdin's puppet.
Does she?
That was
Can that
rather
be shared?
It was rather smelly. Paul Zerdin was a ventriloquist.
Yes, I remember.
And he'd used his puppet for so long, obviously sweaty hands, as well you know, Jamie.
Oh, very, yeah.
Yeah. Well, the smell of said aforementioned sweat had transferred itself to the interior of said aforementioned puppet. So what I mean to is I'm guessing the dog picked that up. That's perhaps why he went for Ninestein.
I think it was early days, though. They probably weren't that well-handed, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, they just looked like toys, I
suppose so,
suppose.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they were foam rubber.
Right.
So I guess the faces were probably not great, but I guess he grabbed them by the body and therefore...
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Close escape.
Well, what a hero.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds like a Terrahawks adventure to me.
Perhaps a future one.
Why didn't that ever appear in the episodes? That's what I want to know. Big Finish, are you listening?
Yes, maybe Sonny could come in and do a cameo.